Okay, so good morning everyone. In the last video that I made on that video, we seen that what are the rules are associated, like how to find out the follows. Three different rules we had seen, and also subsequently the necessity of removing left recursion from a grammar and why a grammar to be left factored. Those two portions were covered. This is the final class on LL1 parsing. Today we will be taking a complete example where first we will be calculating the first function. Then once we find the epsilon moves in the first function, we will calculate the subsequently follow, and then we will design the entire table. Previously we formed the rudimentary table or predictive parsing table that was incomplete. But today we'll be completing the table, and now finally we'll be deciding that whether a grammar that is been given to us is LL1 or not. Okay, so let's move to the main content. Okay. Okay, now if we quickly recapitulate that what we covered, three rules for the follow. Before starting the follow, if I just briefly take the few points here, let me reconnect. Okay, now what was the first function? First I am telling that we are processing with LL1 parser. I already said this. What is this left actually signifies? This signifies left to right scan, and this is stands for LMD, leftmost derivation, and this is the look ahead token. Right, now file processing a grammar. When a grammar is being given to us, someone has asked us to check whether the grammar is LL1 or not. To check that, first we have to prepare a predictive parsing table for that grammar. Correct. Now if this predictive parcel table is saying yes, then it will be LL1. If it is saying no, then not LL1. Correct. Now in the predictive parsing table, what we need to check, that in predictive parsing table several rows and columns are there. In that column wise, we write the variable names, and variable means the non-terminals, and the row wise we write the terminal names. Correct. Now if any cell, if we find double entry, then the grammar cannot be LL1. If no double entries are there, then it is LL1. What problem we face yesterday, that to calculate, to populate this predictive parsing table over here that I have shown, you have to calculate two functions. One is first function, another is follow function. Now first function is easy to calculate. When certain grammars are given, let for example a to small a capital B to C, this is being given, then simply you can calculate the the first of A, first of B, and subsequently for A and for B you can fill up the cells. Let this is A, then this is B and small c. But if any variables are there which generates the epsilon move directly, then for that variable you have to calculate the follow of D, right? And you have to check how many, what are the outputs are there. Based on that, you have to fill up the cell over here, and then you have to check whether the double entries are there or not. So the first strategy is you have to calculate the first. If no epsilon moves are there, then first function is sufficient to tell that whether the grammar is LL1 or not. If epsilon moves are there, then you need to switch to the follow function, not for all the variables, for only that variable which is generating the epsilon move. Yesterday also in the two examples also I said the same ideology. Now this follow function, after calculating the follow function, you have to check what are the variables it is generating, and subsequently you have to fill up the cells over here and need to check that whether double entries are there or not. In way to calculate the follow function, three rules yesterday we defined. So what are the three rules? The first rule was the follow of the parent node. Parent node means I may have multiple A to B, let B to C and C to D, for example. That means if I am drawing a tree A to B, B to C and C to D, this is the architecture. So the parent node is A, B is not a parent node. So the follow of the parent node A will contain dollar. That is the main thing that I'm telling. But never follow of B, follow of C or follow of D will contain dollar. So the follow of the parent node will contain dollar. This is the first rule you have to remember. The second rule, what was the second rule? Second rule was if I have a production in this format means here for your understanding here again I am writing, if there is a production A, it is generating, let this is the first portion, second portion and third portion. I am writing in this way to make it simple for you. These three portions, like I said, alpha, beta and gamma. This is alpha, this is beta and this is gamma. Then you need to know that follow of the second portion you are calculating, it will take the values from the first of the third portion. This is the main rule. Nothing complex is there. Complexities are here. So the first of the third portion, the same thing I said here, check. The first of the third portion gamma will be in the follow of the second portion. Then I said that if first, second, third, fourth is given, right? If another fourth is given, like here I have given in this part, fourth is given, then what you can do? You can take it these two as a single one. Then you can do it, this is a second portion, this is a third portion. So the third of delta, the first of delta will be the follow of gamma. In the same way, you can take it in a different way also for the third case. That you can take it as a first portion, this one is a second portion, and the last little rest part is the third portion. The first of gamma delta will be in the follow of beta, right? So this is very simple. Initially you may find it complex, but once you are habituated with these symbols, it will be okay for you. Just you need to remember that the follow of the third portion, the first of the third portion will be coming into the follow of the second portion. If I can decompose the production into three segments, again I am repeating, the first of the third portion will be coming into the follow of the second portion if I am able to decompose the production into three different segments. Okay, this is the second rule. And the third rule was if I have a production left A2 first segment and second segment. If I can generate this type of segment, then the follow of the second segment, it will take whatever the follow values it has from the node from which it is generating. So the follow of the second segment, it will be the follow of the parent node from which it is generating, right? So if I have a production alpha A2, let for example B, I said no second, where is the second? There is a first portion is there. So you can append an epsilon over here to change it in this way. The follow of beta will be coming from the follow of A, because this turn as a second segment and epsilon turns as a first segment. Okay, so this is the rule that the follow of this parent part will be coming to the follow of this part. These three different rules you have to remember. And in several MCQ questions and in PSU exams, in GATE exams, and even your university exams, the follow function every time they will ask you to calculate, because this is somehow tricky. So they might test you how far you have the knowledge. Okay. Now I am moving to the example. As I said, We'll be taking a complete example to check whether the grammar is LL1 or not. Okay. Now take this example. Let me take a marker over here. Yeah. Now let this is a grammar is given to you. This is the example number 23. Right. Now in this grammar, this is a grammar G, and this grammar has these three productions. Correct. This is the first, this one is the second, and this one is third. And I have marked it as a first production. This is Roman I, the Roman 2, and Roman 3. Because I have to show the expansion how I am making. That's why I have indexed these three different productions. Now the same grammar I have taken, if you can check this grammar, the grammar that I have taken, it is left factored grammar because S to I, T, S, E, S, the grammar it was initially, if I'm scroll up here, you can check that, yes, this was the grammar. I have to erase this part now. Okay. Now, if you can recall, you can check that the same grammar I have taken over here. This is the same grammar, correct? And for this grammar, there is a problem. Initially, the grammar was this one without, in example number 23, that the grammar was not left factored. And that's why double entry was there in this cell. And the grammar was not LL1, I said. Initially, I was taking, if the grammar was not left factored. Then we removed the problem and the grammar is now left factored. After removing the associated problems and performing the left factoring, we check that all the cells have single values. This cell, this cell. But here the table was incomplete. Correct. And I said that though the table is incomplete, still we can say that the grammar is LL1 with the incomplete table. The taking decision from the incomplete table as no double entries are there. But the problem is being created by this epsilon move for S dash right now. Because last time also I said, if any non-terminal is producing epsilon, then we have to find it out the follow of that non-terminal S dash. So we had to calculate the follow of S dash. And we have to check what are the variables it is generating, and subsequently we need to fill the values for the S dash. So this is the column for S dash. We have to check what are the values I can put over here. If I can put any value over here, over here, over here, or over here, no problems are there. But if I am putting any value over in this portion, because already one entry is there, then the grammar certainly will not be LL1. Correct? So I hope the idea is clear before you, that the example that I have taken right now is already left factored, and the incomplete table that I had, I am completing that table. Correct. And what was our intention? Our intention is to calculate the follow of S dash, to calculate the follow of S dash, right? And rest of the table that I have shown out here, the same table. Here you can check the predictive parsing table, though I have written it in horizontally. Uh, Horizontally means in the, if you see in the screen, it will be in vertical mode, but uh, you can rotate it if you wish. I'm rotating it. Okay, it is not rotating this way. Yeah, no. Yes, you can check this one. No? So the same table that I have here, the same table you can find that this is three variable S dash and E. These three variables are there. The terminals, these are the terminals, correct? And this is S dash and E. What new I have added? I have added this new column dollar, correct? Because initially the previous table for that grammar only had this column A, P, E, I, and plus symbol. This is terminal. But now new column is dollar being added here. And that the dollar of the parent node will contain, the follow of the parent node will contain dollar. Na? I said that how to put that dollar. For that reason, a new column being added. So just remember this column is being added. So this whatever which part are known to us, that you just check. Again, I am rotating it. Okay, it is anti-rotation is not possible here. Okay, just you see uh, that first we had to what, let me change the color of the pen here. So we have to calculate the first of S from this. From the second one, we have to calculate the first of S dash. From the third one, we have to calculate the first of E, right? So first of S, what we will get first of S, it is I or small a. So this is I or small a. For S dash, it is E or epsilon. It is E or epsilon. This should be curly brace. First of E, it will be simply B. Correct. So S, first of S will contain I and A. So subsequently you can check that for A there is an entry for the variable S, and for also corresponding to the I part there is also an entry, right? The first part. Then first of S dash is containing E and epsilon. So corresponding to E, you can check that S dash to ES there is an entry. Though the second entry is coming later, don't consider this one right now. This entry. Then first of E is containing B. So here the first of E, it is containing B, right? So this table, that the entries that I have marked in green, this entry, this one and this one, the table that I have now, it is a rudimentary table or the initial table that I have formed, right? Now, what is our main motive here? We have to calculate the follow of S dash, right? Now I am erasing the extra part over here. So that you can track all the portions easily. Okay, so I will be writing here in this portion back to back. Okay. Now you see that the first, what was the first production? Here I'm writing the first production was S2 small I T S S dash or A. Correct. Now, and the second production was S dash to ES or epsilon, and third production was E to B. Correct. This belongs to a grammar G. Now, from this three production, our main motive is to calculate the follow up S dash, because already our table is being prepared. Once we get the values for follow up S dash, we can take a decision. Right. Now, while taking a decision, let me change the color here. Okay. Now, follow up S dash, can I calculate follow up S dash directly? Let us check. Now, follow up S dash means from the second production, what we can infer that in second production there is, we can apply the rule number 3. Can you remember rule number 3? What was the rule number 3? Rule number 3 was, this is the two portions are there, first segment and second segment. The follow up that S dash will be coming to the follow up S. So that means follow up S dash, follow up S, it will contain the follow up S dash. Correct? Follow up S will be taking the values from follow up S dash. So this is the rule I can infer from rule number 2. Correct? But you see that if I am calculating only this portion, our main intention is to check or to calculate the follow up S dash. But here it is calculating the follow up S, and it will first follow up S dash, the values will come into the follow up S. So that means here is a deadlock scenario. So that means rule number 2 is not sufficient to give us the exact result for follow up S dash. For this reason, you have to calculate the whatever the rules you can find from all the productions. You have to write down all the rules you can apply using the follow function over all the production and then subsequently need to calculate. Correct. So I am erasing this part. That's why. Right. Okay. Now, okay. Now from the first production, what are the rules I can find it out from the first production? This is the second now. From the first, you check that S2, again I'm writing S2 IE TS and S dash. I will be asking you to cool down your nerve because every sentences, whatever the sentences I will pronounce it here, those are very important. If you have any doubt, you can ask me later. You can come to my cabin also. Lord, this is the A. So I am not bothered about A here because S is generating A is a terminal. So no problem is there. Now, this production that I have, how many different scenarios I can create? I can create a scenario that this is the first segment, this is the second segment, this is the third segment, right? If I am taking in this way, then what will be our rule? Then follow of E, it will be taking the values from first of small tss dash, correct? Rule number 2, follow of E, the second, this is the second part, this is the third part, this is the first part. First of the third part will be coming to the follow of the second part. Yes, this is the first thing I can do. Okay. Now, what is the second thing I can do over this production? Again, I'm writing here S2 IE TS and S dash. Right. Now, last year, if you can remember, I said we have to take only the follow of the non-terminals, because what we will get by finding follow of terminals, because terminal means this is the end point. So end point cannot have a follow. End point means it is the end point. The non-terminals which are expanding, that can have a follow. The leaps, the childs that it has, the siblings that it will create, that comes under the follow segment, right? Now, okay. Now, if I am taking in this way, if I am taking this part as a single part, and this is a second part. So this is the first part and this is the second part. I can take up to here. This is the first and this is the second. Under that, I can write the rule number 3. The follow of S dash. Yes, it will be the follow of S, right? Follow of S dash, it will be taking the follow of S. Correct. I can take the rule number 3, 2-segment format. Okay. Can we take any other combinations over here? Let us check whether any combinations we can take or not. Let in the second production, you check that S dash is generating epsilon, right? S dash is generating epsilon. So again, I'm writing for your understanding S2 IE TS and S dash. In the second production, you have checked that S dash is generating epsilon. So if I am putting epsilon over here, so this production changes to I, E, T and S, because S dash epsilon means here it is 1. So S to epsilon. So you have to consider it. Please remember, you have to consider the epsilon and you have to put the epsilon in appropriate places where you can place it. So like here you can place S dash to epsilon. If any other places are there where you can put, you have to put. Whether you are putting any other variable like S dash is equal to ES, so whether you want to put ES over here or not, that depends on you. You may not put. But if epsilons are there in a production, then that production, you have to consider the epsilon production and you need to replace that epsilon with appropriate values in appropriate place. Like here I have changed this S dash with epsilon. But now once I change it, now this IETS, this IETS I cannot do anything over here. Why? Because you see that what segment I can take. This is the first segment. You can tell this is second segment. This is a third segment. Correct now. So you will tell that, sir, you will apply the rule of that follow of P will take the first of T and S. But it is the same. First of T and S means the first of T right now. And already in the here already we have calculated that first of TSS dash means here also it will be coming T. So this is nothing, no use of it, because first of TS is dash means the first of TS na. Already we have checked in the first portion. Okay, so the this second part that I have taken here, that is not possible, or not possible I should not say, that is of no use, right? Now what more I can take? Now you see that among these three productions, S is the parent node or the root node. So definitely as per the rule number 1, the follow of S will contain dollar. So I'm writing the follow of S will contain, it will contain. Now I am equal sign I am giving here. Till so far I have given this assignment sign. This is assignment sign. And here I am populating the set now. The follow of S will contain dollar. Right? I hope you have understood it. Okay. Now, what are the things I have taken? This is the follow up S is containing dollar. Then second is follow up S dash is containing the follow up S. Follow up S dash is containing the follow up S. Then follow up E is containing the first of TSS dash, and the follow up S is containing dollar. Okay. Apart from these three, can we generate something more that we require? Can we generate something more? Can you just think over the rules that I can take? You can check here under the here in the left portion already. Okay, this eraser has been taken. You can check that this portion already we have built up. Okay, this is why it is going out. And also this portion also we have generated, but this portion we have not formulated. Okay, no, this portion is not actually, this portion we have generated. This portion is being let the first of S dash. Correct. This portion we have not yet built up. Now we have to apply this production in a different way so that all the rules we can use. Correct. Okay. If I am taking this production in this way, same production I am taking S2, IE, TS and S dash. Correct. I am taking this part is a first part, this part is a second part, and this part is a third part. That is also possible. No? This is a first part, this is a second part, and this is a third part. If I'm taking in this way, then what I can write? The follow of the second part, it will take the values from the first of the third part. Follow of S is the first of S dash. So that means from this here, if you check from here, if I'm zooming out from this zone, just see that from this rule number 1, from this rule number 1 or production 1, what are the different ideologies or what are the different formations we have seen? This is the first formation, this is the second formation, this is the third formation, and this is the fourth formation. Correct. These 4 formation we have find it out here from the first production. Similarly, from the second production, what we can get? S2ES. Again, I hope that you should see this video twice or thrice, because by looking through the videos single time, it might not be clear, because these things you have to have an expertise that how to take the production in different segment formats. Correct. If you practice this or if you see the video twice or thrice, it will be clear. Again, for your understanding, Again, I am repeating the same portion here. That first we took the first production, we made it in three segment format: I in one segment, E in second segment, and T as S dash in third segment. So we applied the rule number two. The first of T as S dash is the follow up E, follow up the second portion. Then we change the S to I E T S S dash, second same production we have taken, and we have made it in a two segment format. Applied rule number three. Follow up S dash will be coming to the follow up. We follow up S will be coming inside the follow up S dash. So that part we have written here. That part we have written. Under the third segment, I said that this was not possible because first of TS it was coming. And already we have taken in the first portion follow up TS S dash. So the first it is generating T. Here also it is first it is generating T. So I cancel out the second one. Then as S was the parent node, the root node, you check that S, S dash and E, three variables are there. As S is the first one, it is appearing in the production rule. So S was the parent node, we are assuming. Not assuming, we have to take. So the follow up is will contain dollar. Here the first time I have used the equal symbol. And then here the follow up S is containing the values from first of S dash by decomposing in again three segment format, first, second, and third. Correct. That again here we have applied the rule number two. The first of this portion will be coming to the follow of this portion, right? And one more point I said that if any epsilon moves are there, though I have crossed out this portion, correct? But here one thing you need to check that if any epsilon moves are there, you need to replace here. I replace this S with this epsilon. Anywhere any epsilon moves are there in any grammar, you need to replace that variable with epsilon, and then you have to apply the one rule number 1, 2, and 3 where it will be applicable. Okay. So the same thing I have done. Okay, S dash to ES. This was the second okay, let us proceed with the second production. Okay, here I am erasing this part. I'm taking a different thing. Okay, from this is the first production. These are the generation that I am taking. From the second production, what I can get S dash to ES, S dash to ES. Only one option is left. I can make it in two segment format. This is the first segment, this is the second segment. So I can only apply rule follow up S, it will take the follow up S dash. Nothing more I can take. This is a simple rule I can take. From the third production, I cannot take nothing because here this is a terminal. I said by finding follow up a terminal, we cannot do anything, right? So here what we are getting from the first production, three rules, actually four rules we are getting. From the first production, from the second production, we are taking only the one rule, that one is here. From the third production, we are getting nothing. Okay, now let us check. Okay, you here you might wonder that, sir, you have skipped the one rule over here, though you have said four rules. Actually these are all that I have shown now. This is operator that I have used. This is assignment operator. Actually I am assigning the value. The equal sign operator that I have used here, that I have taken later in that PDF. Correct. These portions I have taken later, you will check. So I have considered these three, this one, and this one, these three for the production one. For the production one here, for production two, I have taken this one, right? The same thing will be reflecting here, and that the whatever the green box I am showing here, that will be considered later because this is directly I am forming the set here. Okay, let's see over here. So all the subsequent steps here I am showing. Okay, here we have calculated in one go. Okay, it will be better if I can show it here. Okay, let me show it here so that you can understand it better. Okay. Now, rather in showing in PDF, I am explaining over here uh, so that you can try, because I can explain from the PDF, but it will be better for you if I can show how these sets are being formulated now. Because previous example, I have shown all the formation of the example number 22. Here I have shown example number, sorry, 24. Here I have shown all the associated steps. Same grammar I have taken initially that I had explained earlier. So that's why I have skipped the assignment portion here. That's why I'm showing in the PDF. Just see it here. In Word, just see it here. Okay. Uh, okay. So how to erase? Which portion to erase? Okay. I'm erasing the portion over here that is not required. Just to check what are the areas I'm erasing. The rules that I have taken. Okay. This was this was because we have to nothing to do with the production. We take the production, we took the production only to show that what we can get from it. Okay. And this one, right? Okay. This many productions we have. Okay. So I am writing it here. Okay. I am writing in a simple way over here, correct now? So from production number one, what I have obtained, again I am rewriting this portion. Follow op, it is first of TSS dash. Once it is being written, I am erasing this portion. The second is follow of S dash. It will take the follow of S. Okay, I am erasing this part. What is the third portion? It is follow of S. It is containing dollar. Also, I am erasing this segment also. Mhm. Okay, the linking is somehow it is being okay. Then the final one is follow up pace and follow up pace and first up pace dash. Follow up pace, it is taking first of S dash, right? This one I have obtained, and also I am erasing this part as well, right? And also the green part that I have taken here from the second production, that follow up is, it will take the follow of S dash, right? These many, these five productions, actually these five productions, productive functions, I should say, not productions. I have now, I am erasing this one and two indexing because I have this set. I have this set. With this set, our intention, what was our intention? Don't forget our intention. Our intention was to calculate the follow of S dash. Only to calculate the follow of S dash, which was generating epsilon, I am producing the entire set, all the combinations. Correct. Our intention is follow up S dash using these rules, right? Now, to calculate follow up S dash, once we will be applying the rules, let us check if any rule is being repeated over here or not. Follow up is, okay, it was follow up is dash, follow up is, okay, now none of the rules are repeated. Now one thing you see that I am erasing this portion over here. Now see that here, here the follow functions are there and first functions are there. There is a combination of follow and first. Now, one thing, just hear my sentence very carefully, that the follow assignment means this is the follow assignment. Here the follow is there. Here the fifth one, this is the follow assignment. These follow assignments are dynamic assignments. Whereas the star mark that I have given, this and these are static assignment. Why static? Because every time first of TS S dash you calculate, you will get T, or from the this one, if you calculate the first of S dash, the value you will get, that is a static value. But from this one, the follow up is set is every time it is changing. Correct? Now we have to apply this rule iteratively over here to populate the sets, because we need to check how many different values we can generate over here. Right now, correct. So for that reason, in the same time, we need to calculate the first of all the okay. Just as I was telling, that the first function is static, so better to use that first function than to go with the follow function. Okay, because first is a static function. So I am taking the first function first. Okay. So follow p, it is containing first of TNS SS dash. Okay. Now here I hope that area I might require some more area over here. Okay. Follow up. I don't know why it is not going. Okay. Yeah, it is fine now. Now I have to change the color. Uh, I am applying here. I am marking it. Okay. This is. I have to some indexing I have to give here. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. These 5 inferred values are there: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So under 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 1, 3, and 4 I said are static. 2 and 5 are dynamic, because the follow assignments are here and follow assignments are changing every time. First is static, because again I'm telling, the first you will take the first of s, it is I and a. Every time it will be the I and a. Correct now? Nothing more you will get. Okay. So here, for your simplicity of your understanding, I am calculating the first set here. First of s dash and first of e also. So first of s, it is already we have checked I and a. First of s dash, it is e and epsilon. Now I am writing epsilon. First of e, it is only containing b. These three values are there, right? I and a, e and epsilon, and b. Now, what till so far we have done? We have taken a grammar. We had taken a grammar. For that grammar, we calculated the first function. Here we have the first function we have calculated. And all the different follow functions that I can calculate over the productions rules, also I have done that. Now, one thing only left is that we have to populate the sets, and our intention is to find it out the follow of S dash. Right. In order to make our calculation limited means to make our calculation simple, we need to use the static assignment first, so that I can remove those assignment, then we will switch to the dynamic assignment. So follow up P first of TS. So static means this is 1 is a static, 3 is a static, and 5 is a static. So 1, no, 1, 3, 1, 3, and 4 is a static. All the star marking 1, 3, and 4. All the star mark uh, values are the static assignments. So for follow up P. So here we are creating the set. Okay, let me take another ink over here. So we are calculating the follow set. Okay, side by side I am writing now. Follow up P set. follow of S dash set, here follow of S set, here I'm writing follow of S set. Again, twice it is being repeated, you check. Then follow of again S set, right? So this is the, but it will be coming from different values, right? So why I said I will take the static assignment first, because once I take the static assignment, this like follow up is, and follow up is will be merged to a single one. Correct now, because every how many times you will take the follow. So here you will be being confused. 3 times follow up is are there. If you take the static assignment first, you just assign the values and you remove the associated production. Okay. Now see, follow of E. So first of TSS dash. So first of TSS dash, this is simply it will contain T, because TSS dash is the first T. Okay, this is a static assignment. What is another static assignment? Follow up is, it is containing dollar. So I'm putting comma over here. And another is follow up is first of S dash. So wherever you will find the first function, that is the static assignment. Or if any dollar assignment, that is a static function. First of S dash. First of S dash will be follow up S. So first of S dash, what is the first of S dash? We need to check back here. First of S dash is E and epsilon. So I'm writing it is E and epsilon. First of S dash, right? So that means we have applied these 3 different rules. These 3 assignment first, and now we have prepared a set. Once it is being done, we can erase it. No problem with that, because static assignment, though I said iteratively we have to use it, iteratively, but the static assignment, again multiple times I'm repeating the same sentence, that if you apply the rules iteratively, if there is a static assignment, then nothing changes will be there in the set. Okay, because if you again you apply the rule here, this rule, again you will get T. Nothing new we will get over here. Right now, that is why we have to remove it. The static assignment I'm removing. This one was a static. We have formed the set. The static was, this one was a static, and this one also was a static. Right now, with the static assignment, the 3 assignments already being done. Now for these 3 okay, you see that set, follow set will remain. I am not changing the follow set. The follow set that it has generated already, I am putting it here. Now you see that follow from the static assignment part, uh, here once I will be calculating, I will be applying the, I am indexing part, I am now removing, because now where it is required now. Okay, 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 okay. Now you see that follow up is and follow up is 2 times I am written over here. Follow up is and follow up is from the 2 static assignment. So I can merge it and I can write it here also, E and epsilon. Right. So dollar E and epsilons are here for follow up is, and I am removing the last one, this one. The same thing I have written, because the follow set it is the same now. So now it is reduced to 4 values. But still I have not done anything over follow up is, correct now, because but still I can do now. Here this came from the static assignment, this came from the static assignment. So the static assignment values I can assign if it is possible. So for first one, follow up E, nowhere I can put it, but follow up is, again it is repeated over here, so I can write the values over here, dollar E and epsilon. Once I write it, I'm erasing this part. Right, this is very simple. So because follow of S was I was calculating, I have given that value to here. Now these 3, we have these 3 production, correct, not production, 3 assignments. Now I have to apply them iteratively. Let me erase this portion so that you can check it. And now I am closing this bracket because follow OP I cannot calculate more. Follow OP already being ended because it generated from the static first production, and nothing more assignments are there. That is why I am closing the bracket. But I have kept open these two, follow up s dash and follow up s. Okay, I am applying the rules iteratively here. Okay, I am writing it in a small cluster. uh, I'm writing this third here. This value I'm writing here. Okay, no need to write. Let me write it here. It is also okay. Okay, so I have to apply a iteration over here unless and until all the set saturates. I am applying this first one, this one. So follow of S, let this is I'm marking as 1, I'm marking it 2. Rule number 1, follow up is whatever the value is there will be coming into the follow up is dash. So what is the follow up is set? It is containing $e and epsilon. So it will contain $e and epsilon. Okay. For the second one, follow up is dash. It will be taking all the values and will assign to the follow up is already being done. Both the set has the same value. Correct. Again, if I iterate this loop, nothing changes. This is a self iteration. Follow of s will be assigned to follow of s dash because no values are being added, no new values are being added over s. If new values are being added, subsequently this set will be changing. As no new values are being added, so it will not change. So after the second iteration, I still check the set remains same. So I should stop the iteration after the second part. My iteration is complete now, right? Now from the second iteration, our intention was to calculate the follow up s dash. That means I have to take this value only. So follow up s dash, it is containing $e and epsilon. Just remember $e and epsilon. Now I am going to the PDF part. So here I'm writing follow up s dash was containing $e and epsilon. Correct. Now follow up s dash, you just see over here what I have written over here. Last day I said that, let me change the color to red. Okay, now follow up is dash, right? For all the cells, these cells already I populated by the first value. You can remember already I took this part, and that time I said the table is incomplete table. Now follow up is dash, what are the values it has? These three value, $e and epsilon. For the dollar corresponding to dollar, there will be an entry. What will be the entry? S dash to epsilon. Because for epsilon move, we are calculating the follow up S dash. That's why every time I will be writing this production S dash to epsilon. If it was for E, I would have written E to epsilon. If it is for S, I would have written S to epsilon. As we are calculating epsilon, due to epsilon, as we are calculating the follow up is, that's why S dash to epsilon is a standard format you should write. Okay, corresponding to dollar, I am writing. Okay, for the dollar I have written. Corresponding to E, you should write. Corresponding to E, you should write S dash to epsilon. And corresponding to epsilon, no columns are there for epsilon, so you can discard it. Now you see the double entry is here. This is the final table. So the grammar cannot be LL1, right? Now the example is complete. Okay. Now I hope you have understood this problem. I will ask you to go with this example number 24. This is a rather a big example. It will give you more clarity. Here I have given all the steps. This was the grammar, and this grammar has a left recursion. You can check this E to E plus T. So you cannot proceed with this grammar. You have to remove the left recursion. Here I have shown if you proceed with this with left recursion, what problem will be there. Then here the left recursion is being removed from the grammar. Then for all the rules, and you check that here epsilon is being generated and epsilon is being generated, so you have to calculate the follow up s dash and follow up t dash, right? To calculate follow up e dash and t dash, already you know whatever the rules you can apply you should use. So from 1, this number of values you can, this number of assignments you can take. From 2, this number of assignment you can find. From 3, this number of assignment. From 4, this assignment. And from 5, this assignment. Once these assignments are being taken, then as I said, the static assignment and dynamic assignment, static assignment you should take first, then you should go with the dynamic assignment. The same thing I have done over here and also over here. You see that the first functions I have used first, because first are static, I said now. The static assignments are done first. Then over the dynamic assignments, the iterations are being made. And finally, this set is being populated. Once this set is populated, your intention was to calculate the follow up t dash and follow up e dash as it was generating the epsilon moves. Corresponding to that follow up e dash you see and follow up t dash you see that we have entered the values. So follow up t dash, it was plus epsilon bracket and dollar. So you check that for corresponding to plus there is an entry t dash to epsilon, corresponding to bracket there is an entry t dash to epsilon, corresponding to dollar there is an entry t dash to epsilon. Similarly for E also you will check that these two entries are there for bracket and dollar. You check that for bracket and dollar the entries are there. But once the table is being completed, none of the cell contains double entry, so the grammar is LL1, there is no doubt. Okay. The second example I have explained, example number 23. I will suggest you will give some time to example number 22. Once you practice, 24. Once you practice the example number 24, I am 100% uh, sure that your entire doubt, whatever the confusion you might have already generated over here, it will be clear. Okay, so in the next class, we will be moving to the LR parsing and we will be showing that. Before that, you please complete the LL1 parsing.